What if everything you have ever experienced is not happening in the original universe? What if your memories, your fears, and even your sense of self exist inside a carefully constructed artificial reality? This idea is not science fiction anymore. It is a serious hypothesis discussed by physicists, philosophers, and computer scientists. The simulation paradox suggests that reality may not be what it appears to be. And if this theory is correct, then the world you call real could simply be a digital environment running on a system far beyond human understanding. The most disturbing part is not the idea itself, but the probability behind it. Humanity is rapidly approaching a point where technology can simulate environments that feel real. Artificial intelligence already creates faces that never existed, voices that never spoke, and virtual worlds that people emotionally connect to. If this progress continues, future civilizations may be able to simulate conscious beings indistinguishable from biological humans. This leads to the core of the simulation paradox. If advanced civilizations can run simulated realities, then they would likely run vast numbers of them. In that case, the number of simulated minds would vastly exceed the number of original biological minds. Statistically, any randomly existing conscious being would be far more likely to exist inside a simulation than in base reality. In simple terms, if simulations are possible, then being simulated becomes the most probable explanation for your existence. Modern physics adds another unsettling layer. At the smallest measurable scales, the universe appears to operate on discrete units, almost like pixels. Space and time are governed by mathematical rules, behaving more like programmed systems than natural chaos. Reality seems optimized, structured, and constrained in ways that resemble computational limits. Some physicists argue that the universe looks less like an organic accident and more like a design system governed by information. Even the act of observation affects outcomes at the quantum level, as if reality waits for input before deciding how to behave. But the paradox deepens when we consider consciousness. If a simulated mind experiences thoughts, emotions, and suffering in the same way a biological mind does, then what is the meaningful difference between them? If pain feels real, if love feels real, then does the origin of that experience matter at all? This question challenges our understanding of free will. If every thought and decision emerges from prior states, whether biological or digital, then freedom itself may be an illusion. And yet, despite this possibility, you still feel responsible for your choices. You still care about outcomes. You still assign meaning to your actions. If reality is simulated, morality does not disappear. In fact, it may become even more important. If conscious beings exist within a simulation, then their experiences still matter. Suffering does not become less real simply because it occurs inside code. There is also a more unsettling possibility. What if the simulation has no purpose, no narrative, no higher meaning, just a system running until it no longer needs to? A forgotten process executing silently, indifferent to the lives unfolding inside it. The true paradox of the simulation hypothesis is not whether reality is real or artificial. The paradox is how little that distinction changes your lived experience. You still think, you still feel, you still choose. Even if this universe is simulated, your consciousness remains undeniable. Meaning does not vanish simply because reality might be artificial. It becomes something you must actively create. So the final question is not whether you are living in a simulation. The real question is this: if this is a simulation, what kind of life are you choosing to live inside it?